Hello, my name is Scott Miller. I'm an LSAT instructor with Manhattan Prep, and I just took the July 2020 LSAT-Flex. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about my experience taking the test and maybe give you some information, some suggestions that might help you be prepared for test day if you're taking an LSAT-Flex. To give you a little bit of background, Manhattan Prep requires all of our instructors to have a 99th percentile score on an actual LSAT in order to teach for us. So I have taken the LSAT before. It's been a few years, and LSAC allowed a few of our instructors to take this July LSAT Flex. So it was a good opportunity for me to take the LSAT again under actual test conditions, and also to see what this LSAT Flex is actually like. If you're just learning about the LSAT, just give you a little more information. The standard LSAT is taken in person at a test center. The LSAT Flex is a remote version of the LSAT, so you can take it at home on your own computer. It's administered by an organization called ProctorU, and you need a computer with a webcam and microphone and speakers, and you need a stable internet connection in order to take the test. LSAC is working with people who don't have those things to help them out so that they can take the test. But you definitely don't need a brand new, latest, greatest computer to do this. I took the July LSAT Flex on an 8-year-old MacBook Pro, and it worked just fine. But and my test day experience actually went really smoothly. Everything went really smoothly for me on test day. I didn't have any tech issues. I didn't have any issues with proctors or delays or anything like that. I have heard from some other people that they had issues. They ran into delays or had some kind of tech issues. So I'm going to tell you some things that I think help me be as prepared as possible for test day, and that might help you be prepared and do your best on the test. So after you register, you're going to get a number of emails from LSAC with information, and if you're taking the LSAT Flex, it'll be information about things like registering with ProctorU, checking your system requirements. There's some information on the ProctorU site about there's a link you can use to test your equipment to make sure it's compatible with their system. And so you want to do all that stuff well in advance. Read any emails that you get from LSAC, follow the instructions that they give you, and even if you have a brand new computer and a super fast internet connection, you still want to do all these system checks and test your equipment well before the day of the test, just in case there is any issue. Like for me, I had to try a couple web browsers to get my computer to pass all of the checks in the equipment test. It's not really a big deal. I just tried a couple web browsers. It worked fine. But if you do have any problems and you need to contact ProctorU or you need to contact LSAC, you want to give yourself plenty of time to do that. You don't want to be scrambling and doing all this stuff the day before the test or the day of the test. You just don't need that hassle. You don't need that kind of stress when you're getting ready to take the LSAT. So to help make sure that things go as smoothly as possible, make sure that you do all these checks and follow all these instructions in advance. About 3 days before the test, I got an email from LSAC asking me to do a couple final checks, so I did those. And then there were the actual instructions to follow on test day. And so on the day of the test, I just followed those instructions. I logged into the ProctorU site about 5 minutes before my scheduled start time or my assigned time. And there's going to be a start session button that you click to actually, on the ProctorU site, once you log in, the start session button that you click to actually start up the whole process. Don't worry if you don't see that button when you first log in. If you log in a little bit early, you sign into the ProctorU site a little bit early, and you don't see that start session button, don't worry about it too much. There's probably going to be a countdown timer, and then when the countdown timer reaches 0, then you'll see that start session button. Once you click that start session button in your ProctorU account, then you're just going to follow some on-screen instructions to do some final setup steps to get ready for the test, and then you'll be connected with a proctor. And then the proctor is going to give you some additional steps to follow. What I would definitely recommend at that point, when you're following all these initial on-screen instructions, and then when you're following the instructions that the proctor gives you, take your time. There's no need to be in a rush at that point. You may be a little nervous on test day, and maybe you just want to get the test started, right? You want to get to the test. So maybe like you're reading the instructions and you're thinking, oh, this is all really easy, But really take your time, read those instructions. Don't be in a rush at that point. Follow the instructions carefully. That's going to help things go smoothly and hopefully help you avoid any issues. Once you follow those initial instructions that the proctor gives you and you do all this initial setup, then the proctor is going to have you log into your LawHub account. So when you take the actual LSAT-Flex is run through LawHub. It's just like a practice test. The proctor is going to have you log into your LawHub account. Instead of going to a practice test, you're going to go to the LSAT-Flex. And so if you've done a couple of those official LSAC prep tests through LawHub, then the interface on test day is exactly the same and everything's going to look really familiar. So at that point, you're just doing what you've done on your practice tests and following the same steps. So I would say, so hopefully all this, just following the instructions, taking your time, following the instructions, doing all the setup that you can do in advance, doing that well in advance before test day will help you avoid any problems. But you still want to be prepared for things to possibly go wrong, and things can go wrong on test day. You might run into delays. There might be, delays getting connected to your proctor, or you get connected to a proctor and then you get disconnected, things like that. It might be frustrating, but your job, remember, is to focus on doing the best you can on the LSAT, right? So even if things start to go wrong, you want to take a deep breath and just be patient, right? And try to keep your head in the right space. Try to keep your head in the game. Focus on what you need to do your best on the test. Definitely don't schedule anything on that day other than the LSAT. Don't schedule anything before. Definitely don't schedule anything after, right? You want taking the LSAT to be the only thing that you really need to do that day. That way, if you do run into any delays, you don't have the added stress of worrying about, well, when is this going to be done? And, am I going to be late for that other thing that I need to do? You don't want to be worrying about any of that. Just focus on what you need to do on the test. If there are any significant problems, you run into a real, issue that interferes with your ability to take the test properly. Once you're done, then write down what happened, and then contact LSAC and deal with it then. But from the time you sign into the test until the time you sign out, your goal is just to keep your head in the game and stay focused on doing the best you can on the test. So, Laura Damone, who is one of our LSAT instructors, wrote a really good blog post on the LSAT-Flex a little while ago. And I would say from taking the test that, everything she described is definitely useful and helpful in terms of getting prepared for the test and what you're going to want to do on test day. I'm getting ready to write a blog post also that's going to be about my experience on test day and kind of the same thing as this video, but I'm going to go into a little more detail. So definitely look in the description of this video for some links. Go visit our website, manhattanprep.com. Check out our LSAT blog. We have some information there about the LSAT-Flex. We have some other good resources on our website. But hopefully this video helped you learn a little bit more about the LSAT-Flex and what it's going to be like on test day and what to expect. So thanks for watching.